Hey, this is C&D channel. I'm Chris. This is my dog. This is MMA for you. I'm going to be doing my post-fight analysis for InvictaFC 8. Overall, great card. Problem is, streaming issues once again plague InvictaFC. One thing that I did like that I saw throughout this event was an overall improved striking level of a lot of fighters on this card. There's still a lot of fighters here that strike at a very low level, but other ones really showed great improvement or showed just like solid striking overall. Because like one thing about women's MMA, especially like not too long ago, is like so many female fighters just had this really sloppy technique. Some still do, some still have it, but like there's this whole idea of like punching like a girl, pretty much. Like, you know, it's just this really like sloppy, almost look like untrained style of striking. So it was good to see that across the board, some of these fights actually showed good striking. My picks were pretty good. I got 7 out of 10 correct. The ones I missed were Deanna Bennett versus Michelle Old, Tanya Evinger versus Edion Gomes, and what's the other one that I missed? Oh, Charmaine Tweet versus Veronica Rothenhausler. So let's get right to it. Michelle Watterson defeated Yasuko Tamada by TKO in the 3rd round. So for me, I actually watched it on replay, and the stream was still cutting out before the finish, or like the video was still cutting out before the finish. So you know, I think it was like just 10 seconds before like Michelle Watterson gets the actual like TKO or something like that. It just goes into like this video package that that does show the finish at least, but really unfortunate stuff for InvictaFC, and they keep getting, even on UFC Fight Pass, they still keep getting this streaming issue. As far as the performance goes, though, man, Michelle Watterson just put on a striking clinic against Tamada. Her knees are on point, her kicks are on point, her punches are on point. This is a different Michelle Watterson than I've seen. She used to, you know, quote unquote, punch like a girl. You know, before this fight, you know, she had like kind of wild striking. It just wasn't really refined, you know. So it was just really good to see. She avoided the ground game of Tamada. I think she would have been able to hang there, but man, when she killed Tamada. Tamada had nothing. I mean, seriously, it was like, you know, it was almost like the stream felt sorry for Tamada and didn't want people to see her get beat up more or something like that. You know, with Jessica Penne and The Ultimate Fighter fighting at 115, and Michelle Watterson pretty much could be pretty dominant in the weight class. I don't really see, besides Jessica Penne, I don't really see too many challengers, potential challengers for Michelle Watterson, to be honest with you. I'm thinking maybe, but if you want to give her a next opponent, Ayaka Hamasaki would be good. Seo Hee Ham. Jodie Escobar is coming off a win over Jinyu Frey, so that wouldn't be too bad. Or you can go with like a recent InvictaFC signing, and Herika Tiburcio. Overall, though, yeah, I think Michelle Watterson can keep the title for a while. Besides Chris Cyborg, I mean, Watterson is easily InvictaFC's biggest star. I mean, after that, probably I'd say, well, I said Cyborg. I'd say, like, Barb Honchak is probably the next biggest star after that. Otherwise, they don't have too much. You know, they lost all those 115-pound fighters, and there's some star power there with, like, Rose Namajunas, Tessa Torres, Esparza, Joanne Calderwood, you know. So, yeah, I would definitely say Michelle Watterson, definitely one of the bigger stars that InvictaFC has. Next right after that, Katja Kankanfa defeated Stephanie Egant by submission as a Darce choke in the 5th round. Man, what a come from behind victory. I thought Stephanie Egant was winning the fight up until that point. You know, Katja managed to get like a trip or like a judo, some sort of a trip or judo throw right into side mount, and then she was setting up this Darce choke, and she managed to get in the 5th round. I thought she was behind on the scorecard, to be perfectly honest with you. There were some problems with Katja here, though. She was making a lot of fundamental mistakes on the ground, even on top. She went for, like, ill-advised leg locks. She ducked her head pretty much into the triangle. On takedowns for a double leg, I mean, she'd shoot for the double, go on her knees, and, like, stop at that point and not really drive through. And at one time, Egink would just got mount and kept back mount from that position. Man, this is one of the better come from behind victories that I've seen in a long time. It was totally unexpected. You know, just good stuff for Katja here. And I can't really say as far as like who Egant gets next, because a lot of times they can just give her like a newcomer to Invicta or someone established, you know, whoever they want. But as far as Katja goes, I would like to see a fight between Kankanfa and Mizki in Norway. I think that'd be really cool. I know they just signed Carolina Kuich. I can't really pronounce her name very well. Or they can try and make a play to get Kalindra Faria. So there's some people for Katja Kankanfa to fight. You know, good fight. Katja was getting the takedowns. She would hit some good overhand rights, but Egant clearly had the better stand-up, utilizing the jab and just better movement. She couldn't defend the single leg takedown from Kankanfa at first, but later on she was defending them pretty well. You know, Egink was doing really well in like rounds 2, 3, and 4. I think, at least. I know some people had it 2-2 coming into the 5th round. I thought Egink was ahead personally, but a great win for Kankanfa there. Next fight after that, Tanya Evinger defeated Ediane Gomes by armbar in the 1st round. You know, man, Tanya Evinger's looking really good lately. You know, she just beat Sarah DeLelio. Her wrestling's really on point these days. Her top control's on point. You know, she's showing to be a lot more consistent lately. Got a nice armbar win as well. I think she mounted Gomez and went for the armbar right after that. Good stuff from her. Ediane really couldn't get much going here. You know, I mean, really was just Evinger getting takedowns and whatnot, putting Gomez on her back, and you know, eventually getting that armbar win. I think Tanya Evinger, I mean, the 135-pound bantamweight class is pretty thin, but there are fighters in it. So I think Tanya Evinger should be a front runner to fight for a vacant InvictaFC bantamweight title next, as Lauren Murphy is now fighting in the UFC. Possible opponents for Tanya Evinger, I think one of the ones that makes a lot of sense would be Irene Aldana. She's coming off a big win over Peggy Morgan on the same card. If not her, if Miriam Nakamoto is recovered, I'd go with Nakamoto Evinger as well. With Edion, for pretty much here on out, I'm just gonna say I can't really say a specific opponent that they should fight next. To be perfectly honest with you. Next, I thought Roxanne Modafferi defeated Tara LaRosa by unanimous decision. I can really tell that Roxanne Modafferi has greatly improved her striking under Syndicate MMA. She actually threw a jab, she threw straight punches, and even threw in some kicks for good measure. Tara LaRosa looked like Tara LaRosa has been looking as of late. Her skills she's declining, but also women's MMA and female fighters are just getting better. And Roxanne's actually got better. She's not a great striker by any means. I would at least say she's more serviceable now. She actually punches with correct technique. Footwork's still a little sloppy. She's a bit hittable. But it looks serviceable now. Like, the technique to her straights actually looks good. Back in the day, she'd just kind of throw looping punches and just kind of go forward and try and force a clinch situation. And that's how she kind of fought. And it just looked really sloppy. Once again, punching like a girl, So, yeah, that's a much-needed win for Modafferi. Would it actually surprise me if they go with Modafferi versus Barb Honchak? Just because Modafferi is one of their more popular fighters. And, Honchak needs an opponent, they could go with, Deanna Bennett. She looked really good, to fight Barb Honchak next. But otherwise, I think Modafferi is just a lot more popular. I think it'd make a lot sense in that sense, Roxanne Modafferi. Oh yeah, she is one of the more popular fighters. Versus Honchak. Wouldn't surprise me if they go that direction. Next fight after that, Deanna Bennett defeated Michelle Old by TKO as a body kick in the second round. The overall body attack from Bennett was really good. She was channeling Anderson Silva at one point, where she had the plum and was just kneeing the hell out of Michelle Old's body. What sucks about this fight is if you saw my prediction video, you'd be one thing I mentioned about Bennett is I liked her resume. I liked who she trained with. She trains at Pit Elevated. Her resume is really good. She come off wins over Colleen Schneider, even beat Juliana Pena. But I was unable to find any fight footage of her. That's the thing. So it's I couldn't really pick her to win because, I couldn't sincerely give a great assessment of what Bennett had. I just was totally unable to find fight footage of her. At least I've seen Michelle Old, and she seems to be solid. But I like Bennett's clinch game. Striking wasn't actually too bad. Going for an extended body attack like that, great stuff. Great knees. Just an overall strong clinch game from Bennett. Great stuff. Wouldn't surprise me if she fights Barb Honchak sometime in the future, or whoever is the flyweight champion. Next fight after that, Charmaine Tweet defeated Veronica Rothenhauser by TKO in the first round. Rothenhauser needs so much work as a fighter. She is just... Her striking... she was training out of Team Alpha Male. Faber was in her corner. she's been training with them for a while, and she doesn't have to cut to 145. So I thought she'd have like more energy, less dieting. I thought she'd just look a lot better, a lot more cleaner technique. But nah, I mean, her technique is just bad, and she looked like she just got on the mats in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, once she was on her back, her guard was passed so quickly. She got mounted quickly and didn't seem to know what to do at all. And to stand up, she'd get hit by Tweed a couple times. She'd throw backhands. I mean, it was just really, really bad stuff from Rothenhauser, who made a career so far of knocking out her opponents in the first round. All she has right now is the power, but she doesn't have the technique. And I don't know if it doesn't look like she's picking up MMA very well. That's the thing. So I don't know what to say about Rothenhauser. Charmaine Tweet, I mean, she's been in the game for a while. She has a good ground game. Striking's not too bad. All things considered, it's serviceable. It's better than Rothenhauser's. I don't really know how they're going to move forward with the 155-pound weight class. It's very interesting that they're putting it out there. I wonder if they're going to sign more female fighters, or if more of the 145-pounders that may be on the roster still are going to move up to 155. I don't know, because Bellator now has a 145-pound division. It's a very interesting time as far as the higher weight classes and female or women's mixed martial arts. Bellator now they'll be the top dog for the 145-pound division. And InvictaFC is implementing their own 155-pound division. There's some changes here. The depth of talent is really low. It's like men's heavyweight pretty much. I can't really say who they get next moving forward because I don't know who's in the weight division. Next, right after that, Irene Aldana defeated Peggy Morgan by rear naked choke in the first round. Dude, Aldana just killed Peggy Morgan. I mean, dropped her twice and just beat her up bad, man. I mean, Peggy Morgan she's not very athletic. She takes hits pretty cleanly. She's big for the weight class, but that's all she has going for her. I mean, she's not a great striker. She's not that great on the ground. But yeah, that's the thing with Morgan, right? There's not much to say except Irene Aldana brutalized Peggy Morgan pretty much. And like I said, Irene Aldana versus Tanya Abinger I think would be a good next step for a bantamweight title, vacant bantamweight title for InvictaFC. There's really not many, there's a couple new signings to their bantamweight division. So I don't really know where they can go there, to be honest with you. Give her like a title shot, just give her someone else, really. Next right after that, Alexa Grasso defeated Ashley Cummings by unanimous decision. Grasso's only 20, 21 years old. She's really young. I like her boxing. Her takedown defense was solid. Ashley Cummings, 3-fight losing streak now. She's pretty solid herself. Her striking's not that bad. She's not a bad wrestler. Her ground game's not too bad. It's one of the more well-rounded fighters out there, actually. Female fighters out there, excuse me. But I kind of figured that Alexa Grasso could outstrike her, and she did. That's pretty much how the fight went. It's just like Grasso was the superior boxer to Cummings, managed to defend her takedowns. Even if Cummings got her clinched her against the cage, Grasso would throw elbows and whatnot to her face and whatnot. So, good win for Grasso here. They're really replenishing their strawweight division with some quality fighters. I think Grasso is a pretty quality fighter. It's a good one for her here. Next fight after that, Jodie Escobar defeated Jinyu Frey by split decision. This fight really hinges on the second round. Jinyu Frey dropped Escobar, tried to go for a rear naked choke. That was actually a mistake on her part. I thought she should have just continued with ground and pound to get the win there. Jodie Escobar was turning it on in the third round, and in the second round, not much happened. Jodie Escobar would push forward, but wasn't really connecting too much. Jinyu Frey would get a couple counters here or there. I actually kind of leaned a little more towards Jinyu Frey to win that one in the second round, first and second round, but I can see the argument for Escobar getting that second round. 29-27 is for Escobar. It's not a scorecard that I agreed with. Even if there's a better argument for Jinyu Frey to get 29-27 with the first round being 10-8 and her getting the second round, to be honest with you. So a lot of touch and go pretty early on the fight. Jodie Escobar would jab from like 5 feet away. She didn't really want to face the power of Jinyu Frey, or didn't have to deal with her initial counterattacks with I think it was a lead left or lead right, I forgot. And so she's kind of striking from far away. Wasn't really attacking in combination until the third round. But like I said, she turned it on in the third round, so good win for her. I know that I think she trains at Jackson, so I don't know if they'll give her a title shot against Michelle Waterson or not. It's a good win for her. I think she lost to Alex Chambers last time out, so I don't think she'd be getting a title shot or anything like that with this win, but good win for Escobar here. And finally, J.J. Aldrich defeated Delaney Owen by unanimous decision. I really liked what I saw from J.J. Aldrich. There's a lot to like here for a female fighter making her pro MMA debut. Her striking was solid. I know she has a Taekwondo background. You got to see some kicks from her. Her takedown defense was on point. Her overall Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu was on point. She showed good ground and pound in that third round. I really liked what I saw from her. I'm looking forward to seeing what more she can do, really. Can't really say next opponent for her, but good win for her nonetheless. So that's it for my post-fight analysis for InvictaFC 8. If you have any comments, just leave them below. And that's it for MMA for you. Thank you guys very much.